devotions for Advent 3. And this week we will be looking and focusing on the question, who are you? I trust that this theme will bring some measure of understanding to us as we go through this week together. I'm currently traveling this morning, and therefore the devotion will be much reduced. But I just want you to begin our week together and invite us to bring into focus this theme. Who are you? Invite us to come into our sacred space at this time as we begin this week, as we acknowledge God's presence within us, as we seek to understand who we are. And so we breathe into that presence, into that space within us, that openness. And as we breathe into that space, we feel ourselves becoming more expansive, less localized. We become more conscious of the fullness of our existence, of the ethereal, spirit-like nature of our existence. And we feel that sense of being connected, being a part of. As we allow for this awareness, we breathe into the space. And we hold our attention in this expansive state. Knowing that here we are becoming aware of our true self, the self that God knows, the self that precedes any concept that we may put together of who we are. A self that is authentic, unique. So allow yourself to be in that space. Holding that sense of presence. So today we read from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 24, verse 15 to 25. So when you see the desolating sacrilege standing in the holy place, as was spoken of by the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand, then those in Judea must flee to the mountains. The one on the housetop must not go down to take what is in the house. The one in the field must not turn back to get a coat. Woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing infants in those days. Pray that your flight may not be in winter or on a Sabbath, for at that time there will be great suffering, such as has not been from the beginning of the world until now, no, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no one would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. And if anyone says to you, look, here is the Messiah, or there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and produce great signs and omens to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. Take note, I have told you beforehand. Who are you? Who are you really? John understood, having done the work, having been in his own wilderness, and wrestled with possible ideas about who he could be, he discovered who he was. And in discovering who he was, he discovered his purpose. In the reading for this morning, in this warning that Jesus is offering, there is that message to us. Not to trust that which is outside of ourselves, but to vet everything from deep within us. We know who we are truly if we would only look within. We know who others are. We know who others are if we would only look within. We are not orphans. We are not separate. We are connected to the divine. We are sparks of the divine. And we are being called to manifest that which we truly are. As you go through this week with me, I ask that you give some thought. And by thought, I'm not referring here to an intellectual exercise. But what I'm referring to is the ability to come into one's inner being and allow oneself to be open to the guidance of God's Spirit. To allow ourselves to be open to the remembering, the reconnecting, and in doing so, to truly discern, who am I? Who am I? This theme is a recurring theme in our journey. And we must take time again and again to remind ourselves, lest we fall asleep again. Who am I? During this week, we will take some time to reflect on this. I pray that this day may be a day for going even deeper into that question. Every blessing.